Hey there, fellow travelers. I bet you've heard of a cruise tour before, but did you know there's such a thing as a river cruise tour? Today, we're taking a deep dive into river cruise touring with the big five river cruise lines. Welcome to RTE Travel Talk. Ask a real travel expert, the show that talks to travel professionals around the world. And today, to help me take a deep dive into river cruise tours, is Beth Schulberg of Cruise and Travel Specialists. If you enjoy the journey with us today, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss an episode. And if this video's got you inspired, give it a thumbs up or drop a comment and join the conversation. It really helps the channel out. Thanks for being part of our travel community, whether you're a longtime fan or just dropping by. We really appreciate it. And now, on with the show. Hi, Beth. Welcome back to RTE Travel Talk. It's been a long time.
It has. I'm always happy to have this interview with you.
I'm looking forward to it today, Beth, especially. Now, as you know, there's been kind of a new feature that's showing up in river cruising, which is similar to what ocean cruising has done over the years, called a cruise tour. There's now such a thing, I understand, as a river cruise tour. So I was hoping today you can, first of all, tell us a little bit about what the difference is, and then let's look at the big five river cruise lines and what they have to offer when it comes to a river cruise tour.
Ken, I am so excited to let people know what the river cruises have done with their tours. When we first started doing this 3 years ago, most of the river cruises were just concentrating on that 7 night or 14 night or 10 night cruise. But many of these river cruises are also owned by tour companies. And, they're sitting around thinking, let's give people a tour. Let's get a river cruise inside of that. And then let's give them a tour. So I have picked out 5 itineraries and I thought we could sort of go over them and what the cost is.
When you really think about that, Beth, it makes total sense because
That's-
you're paying the big money to get over to Europe in these places anyway for airfare.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yes.
even if it is included with the cost of your river cruise, so you may as well take advantage and stay a few extra days and explore the country.
Well, most of the time, air is not included with the cost of the river
Yeah,
cruise. So you really need to take advantage of it. 99.9% of my clients go for longer than 7 nights.
exactly. So as I understand, you've got the big five river cruise lines that we're going to do a bit of a comparison on. Where do we get
Correct.
started?
Let's start with AmaWaterways.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
AmaWaterways is not a tour company, but they have gotten into doing some extensions pre and post.
Right.
And I'll just talk about one that they have. It's called the 14-night Grand Canals. You spend 2 nights in Amsterdam, 14 nights that you go from Amsterdam to Basel, but you're going to Brussels on this one. It's not your 14-night that's the ones that a lot of the river cruises do that go from Amsterdam to Budapest. You're going into Brussels and seeing all that area, which I think is great because a lot of people have never done that. And then they end in Basel, Switzerland. They spend 2 nights in Lucerne, which is my favorite place. And then they go on to Zurich, where you fly home from Zurich. So that is Amsterdam to Zurich for 14 nights in a 210 square foot twin balcony stateroom.
Right.
And I'm saying it like that because all the river cruises are different with what they offer for their balconies. With AMA, all excursions are included. You will have to pay for gratuities and you will have to pay for drinks other than at lunch and dinner. They'll offer you wine and beer. So the price on this one, if you added in the gratuities and the wine and beer, because I want to give everyone an overall of making them all inclusive,
Yep.
it's roughly an $850 per person per diem for that 14-night trip, which is wonderful. And then you can add on their travel insurance. Their travel insurance is set at 12.5%. We are able to offer you a lower price on insurance, and what we will counsel people on what you get, what the differences are.
But the main thing
Yeah.
is to have some travel insurance in place for
Oh
sure.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You don't need it until you need it, and then you're like, yeah.
Yeah. And as I recall with AmaWaterways, Beth, they've also got that happy hour but an hour before dinner where you can have the cocktail of choice as well, right?
They do. That's when the cruise director will do his talk about
Yep.
what's going to go on the next week or the next day or the next week. Honestly, you get time for about one drink because
Yeah.
the rest of the time you're sitting there listening to the
Yeah.
cruise director. So,
No, exactly.
another thing I want to point out is when gratuities are not included in your cruise price, you are expected to tip not only the cruise director and the crew, but the local guides that you have. So if you're going on a 14-night cruise and 12 of those 14 nights you have local guides, those gratuities can really add up.
Oh, absolutely. Not to mention the hassle of trying to figure out, oh, well, how much do I
Find
need to take
money.
for this guide? How much do I need to
Right.
take for that guide?
Yes, Ama does a great job. They have beautiful twin balcony rooms.
Yeah,
It is a favorite of many. We sell a lot of Ama. I'm happy to counsel people on why that might be the best cruise for them. But there will be a cruise. They're all so different. So we do find the best cruise for the client that calls.
perfect. So who's next on our list, Beth?
Avalon. Avalon is a part of the Globus family travel of brands. They are a tour company that's been around for 100 years. They know how to tour. So the story with Avalon and Ama is they really started off as one company. And then they decided, well, it looks like this is going to be pretty big, so let's split up. So they're very similar in the way that they operate. With the exception of Ama, that you do not have to pay for shore excursions, but you do have to pay for some shore excursions on Avalon.
Okay.
So just like Ama, you have to pay for gratuities. You have that 1 hour cocktail party, but you do have to pay for some of the excursions. So the price on this, when I add in what I think all the excursions are and all the gratuities, it's about 800 per person a day. This itinerary is interesting. It is from Vienna to Amsterdam. They're going to take you on a tour, 2 nights in Vienna, 2 nights in Salzburg, 1 night in St. Moritz, 2 nights in Zermatt, 1 night in Bern, 2 nights in Lucerne, and then, oh, by the way, you get to go on a river cruise for 7 nights. So I'm like, sign me up today. That is an incredible way to see Switzerland.
Yeah. And Lucerne is beautiful.
St. Moritz, Zermatt,
Yeah.
Bern, all
All,
these places.
yeah.
And you don't have to worry about transportation. You're
Yeah.
just going to be taken everywhere. They're going to do everything. They are a tour company. They know what they're doing. That price per diem, again, I'm going to give you that, is $800 per person a day, roughly. That is what that costs. And they have a very good travel protection plan that is, I think in 2026, it's going to be about 529. Don't quote me on that. It's going up in 2026. They also have a cancel for any reason and get a credit back. If you cancel for a covered reason, such as medical, you will get a refund. But if it's another reason, such as, oh, I just don't want to go, they will give you a credit. It's great, great travel protection plan.
So who's next on our list?
Uniworld. So Uniworld is also a part of a tour company. They've got Insight Vacations and Luxury Gold. So they also do a really good job on their tours, on their river cruise tours. So this one I thought was so interesting because I've been to Slovenia before
Right.
and I love it. And not many people have probably been there or it wasn't on their bucket list, but I think it should be. And so this one takes you from Ljubljana, and forgive me if I'm not pronouncing that correctly to the Slovenians. You start in Ljubljana, Slovenia, and you end up in Rome. So this one is a 13-night, 3 nights in Ljubljana, where you're going to do day tours to different places when you're there. Ljubljana is a beautiful city. I've been there before. It's a walking city because there's a really old bridge that went to the main street in Ljubljana. And in order to have the main street operational, they were going to have to spend millions of dollars to replace that bridge. And they said, nope, we're not doing that. We're going to make our main street a walking pedestrian street. So there's restaurants everywhere. You can walk around without worrying about getting hit by a car. It's a beautiful city.
Fantastic.
So you're going to spend 3 nights in Ljubljana, then you're going to go on a 7-night Venice cruise. And this is what made me so excited. This year, they decided instead of taking this Venice cruise up the Po River, which when you do that, you're going to have to motor coach 2 hours to get to any of the little cities in Italy that you want to go to. They said, we're just going to do Venice. We're going to boat around Venice. Oh, probably 8 years ago, we went in November on this cruise.
Right.
And I wasn't really excited about going up the Po River, but luckily for us, it rained so much they couldn't go up the Po River. So we boated around Venice for the week. It was so much fun. Imagine Venice on a houseboat. That is what you're doing. It was a
Wow.
blast. We would
Wow.
pull up at night when all the day visitors or people were gone, and we had the city to ourselves. So I love this. Even if you don't do this cruise tour, people should do the Venice River Cruise.
What a great,
It's amazing.
what a great way to see Venice.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Because they're
So
so wound up about the amount of tourists coming into Venice now that the big cruise ships can't get there anymore.
No, they can't, but
Yeah,
this little river cruise can. It
yeah,
only has, what does that hold? 126 passengers.
yeah.
So it's a great cruise. I priced this one out in the French balcony suite, and
Right.
I did that because the rooms lower categories are small. And
Okay.
I wanted to compare room sizes. This is a 214 square foot French balcony suite. Uniworld is all inclusive,
Yep.
except they have some masterpiece collection excursions that you will have to pay for. So it's mostly all inclusive.
Yep.
And looking at this, I do want to say that the Uniworld decor on their cruises is beautiful for those people that appreciate art. Their cruise ships are built around the destination that they sail in. On this one, you're going to get the beautiful Murano glass. They pay homage to the Venetian artists in the 20th century. It is just, for me, I think it's beautiful. It's like going to a boutique hotel. A lot of people love it. So, and I love it. The price for that is coming in all inclusive at about 930 per person. But remember, it's all inclusive. So I'm going to go back and review. We had not all inclusive, really rough guesstimate 850. Avalon, not all inclusive, rough guesstimate for all inclusive 800. Uniworld, when I'm adding on masterpiece collections, it's going to add on about $1,000 if you do those, and I made it at 931 per diem
Right.
for this 13-day trip.
Fantastic. All right. So we've done Avalon, AmaWaterways, Uniworld. Who do we have next?
Next is Tauck. So I did the Paris to Prague. It's called the Rhine, Main, and Danube Canal Cruise.
Okay.
You are going to go from Paris to Prague. And the interesting thing about this one, you spend 2 nights in Paris and then you get on a train and you go to Luxembourg. You know, that's that little tiny country that
Yep.
I've never been to. I probably should do this one. And then you're going to get on a cruise in Trier, Germany, and you're going to cruise for 7 nights to Nuremberg. So a lot of history, you know, the Nuremberg trials in Nuremberg. And then you're going to you're going to get on a motor coach and go from Regensburg to Prague for 2 nights. So the thing about Tauck is they want to be, or they are the most all-inclusive. It's really hard to pay for anything on the ship. With Tauck, they will take you to a castle or a manor for a nice dinner with music. People do tend to get dressed up. If there are men that don't want to wear but a jacket, then they're welcome to wear a sweater.
Okay. Again, going with the more casual theme.
Yeah, it's casual on the ship.
Yeah.
This is just
A special night.
well, you know, we women like getting dressed up. I mean, look, I got dressed up for you for
Well,
this interview.
don't
So, you know, we
don't
like
diss
getting
us men.
dressed
We like to get dressed up too now and again.
up. Yeah, every day my husband, we go anywhere. We're in Oregon. He goes, "Can I wear shorts? Can I wear shorts?" I'm like, "No, you can't wear." So, yes, yeah.
Well, Pete is a man after my own heart. I wear
Yes.
shorts 365 days a year if I can.
Yeah, so does he. Yeah, and he's very tan, I'll tell you. So Talc is pricing out at about $1,000 a day in
Right.
a category 6, 225 square foot, beautiful room. That again is on course with what the other ones are. So again, you're going to have surprises. You won't have to pay anything. A little bit different thing that Talc does too is transfers are included, and they will pick you up pretty much anywhere you are by a private driver. Of all of these, and they all do a great job, it's really just based on what you want, what the person expects. They are the true 5-star company,
No,
and they do their tours. Yeah.
I would agree with that. I've heard from lots of travel experts out there. With Tauck, you're not going to put your hand in your pocket for anything.
No, you're
Yeah,
not. And as a matter of fact, if
yeah,
they don't want to feed you that night, they're going to put you off and have you go to a restaurant in town, and they give you money when you leave.
yeah.
So that's pretty. It's like you're their child, and they're giving you here's X amount of money to
Here's your
go out.
allowance.
Yes.
All right. So that's Tauck,
And then we
Uniworld.
have the big one, Viking River, the one that everybody knows about,
Yeah,
Viking River Cruises. So Viking River, like AMA, is not in the tour business. They
right.
are definitely in the river cruise business. They don't have the tour company that have been around for 100 years, like the other 3 companies. But they do a great job. They have one from Paris to Zurich, and it's called Paris to the Swiss Alps. It is 11 nights. You spend 2 nights in Paris.
Right.
You are motor coached to Trier, not train. You know, you have to think about what you're paying for
Right.
here. Not train, you're motor coached to Trier, and you'll go from Trier to Basel, Switzerland. After that, you'll go up to Zurich for 2 nights. Now, what they've done, they have a 10.5 hour tour that takes you all around Switzerland as far as they can go in
Wow.
10.5 hours. That, of course, will cost a fee. They
Right.
do charge for that because they charge for every shore excursion except for one set excursion. And 9 times out of 10, it's a city tour. So
Okay.
you will be paying for all of the excursions.
Yeah.
And that is by design. They want people to book whatever they want. They want them to have a lower price to get on their cruise, and then they can decide what they want to do. So that is definitely a plus for anyone that wants to go on Viking and not pay as much to get on the ship.
No, exactly. And it's kind of like a more a la carte type.
It is. And most people have heard of Viking because of their enormous marketing department. If
Exactly.
you have ever talked to Viking, you're getting 3 to 4 brochures a week. Viking and AmaWaterways are the
Right.
only ones that have walkout balconies. The
Okay.
other ones are French balconies. Uniworld has some on some of their ships because Uniworld ships are not all alike.
Yep.
But for the most part, they have French balconies. So as a rule, it's Ama walkout, Viking walkout balcony. As we said before, they are not all inclusive. The price for this 11-night cruise going in with no additions, and I'm going to give you this price, it's about 6,800 per person. You're going to be adding about $2,000 on to do the shore excursions and the gratuities to the guides
Right.
and everybody else, and to pay for your drinks. So it's about an $800 per person rate. 800 per person.
Right.
Their travel insurance is based on the cost of your trip. They have a great travel insurance plan. One thing everybody needs to know about Viking is they want full payment within, depending on when you book, 12 to 18 months before departure. No one else does that. The penalties don't change. So let's say you pay your $6,800 18 months in advance, but
Yep.
you have to cancel 5 months out.
Right.
There's going to be like a $250 per person penalty, and then you get all your money back. So basically, they're sitting on your money for 18 months. It is refundable up until it starts penalties, which would be about 4 months before you travel.
So if you're planning ahead and you're looking to book something that's 2 years out, the big difference between all the rest of these river cruise lines and Viking, just as you said, is you're putting the money up front a lot faster than you're going to do it with Tauck or
Right.
AmaWaterways or Avalon or Uniworld.
Yes,
Yeah.
a lot faster.
Definitely something to keep in mind. So Beth, I'm looking at these bottom line numbers, the per diem. And at the end of the day, when you level it all up, there's not a lot of difference. So what really does it come down to when you're trying to
There's
match?
really not,
Yeah.
it's not a lot of difference.
Yeah.
On something like this, it's itinerary
Yeah.
because the itineraries are very different. You
Yeah.
can't compare them, as you can see. It has to do with how much you want to reach into your pocket.
Yep.
It has to do with, do you want that open air balcony? Do you want that? The other ones have French balconies that open up, and your room will seem a little bit larger. It really depends on the person. And when people call us and ask for help, we have a conversation with them, and then we'll give them like 3 options. This is what you're going to pay
Yep.
at the end of the day. And then we talk about what they like. And some people will say, well, I don't drink and I don't want to pay for other people's alcohol. Absolutely. That's great. And that's why some of these river cruises do that. And if you're like me, you just want to drink and you want to just say, okay, I don't want to bring out my credit card at
Yep.
any time or my room key to make it, and I don't want to keep up with how much I'm drinking. So, and I'm going to just jump back to Tauck. Uniworld and Tauck are both all inclusive in their drinks. But when I was on Tauck about the 3rd night, they were coming around and they were going, oh, would you like this wine or this wine? And someone said, we can have any wine we want from their wine cellar. And we're like, what? Oh my gosh. And we went, no, we don't want any of the wine that you're suggesting. We are going to go and pick out the wine from the wine cellar. That's amazing for people who like good wine. I mean, who doesn't like good wine,
Yeah.
really?
Well-
And another thing, if you want that expensive highball after hour drink, you're going to pay for it on Uniworld. You're not going to pay for it on tap. They're going to be higher than what Uniworld all inclusive is. because they give you more.
So basically, you get what you pay for. And
You get what you pay for if you want it. So
so
they've got.
really, what you're telling me
Mhm.
is when it comes to this, and it applies to almost all river cruises, is it comes down to a really good conversation with your travel expert, and it has to be somebody that knows all of these river cruises and these ins and outs. Because, for example, just what you suggested with Tauck, how many people would know that you could have your pick of the wine in the wine cellar on a Tauck cruise?
Only those that have gone on it before, and
Exactly.
we've been on all these cruises. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yes,
no, exactly. So it makes a big
yeah.
difference. So, Beth, all five of these river cruise lines do a wonderful job. What are some of the other considerations I should take into account when I'm thinking about choosing between them?
Yeah, I'm happy to share what they have done to make themselves stand out from the other ones.
Okay.
AmaWaterways now has a partnership with Smithsonian. So you will have amazing lecturers on board the cruise. They do a celebration of wine cruises, they do celebration of beer, celebration of wellness. So they have that on there. So they've done a great job in that aspect of singling themselves out from the other cruise lines if people are interested in that.
What about the other ones?
Avalon, they have let go of their piano player that
Okay.
plays every night, and they are concentrating on fun evenings, and they are calling it after hour events. And I just picked up one, moonlit ports and midnight pub. And so, and they're going to do things on the top deck.
Yeah,
They're going to have fun come to their ships that for our local people. So they are going to take the boring out of river cruises and put fun into the evenings.
yeah, exactly. And they've
Yeah,
also got the active and discovery program for
they
who
do. I
want to be
didn't mention
more
that. They
active
have that
active
too.
on board as well.
Yes, they have the active and discovery where you're going to be staying longer in the different ports and you'll be more active
Yep.
and you'll be doing things that are outside of their classic excursion.
No, exactly. And what about Uniworld?
I think Uniworld doesn't need to change a thing, so they're staying the same. I do want to mention, and again, I don't think Tauck needs to do anything, but what Tauck does offer for you solo travelers out there is their category one. Now it is on the lower level and you've got the high windows. There is no single supplement. If you're lucky enough to book early enough with Tauck, because those rooms they do sell quickly, then that no solo supplement is huge.
Exactly. And one of the huge advantages I see about everything you and I have discussed here today is it's all packaged together.
Yes.
And that's a big, big difference when that you don't have to put the pieces together yourself and worry about getting here or getting there and doing that sort of thing. Makes a big
Yeah,
difference.
that's why river cruises are so popular. And now
Yeah.
they've taken it a step further where they're
Yeah.
going, okay, well, why are we giving up on all this, pre and post land tours? Let's get in that business too. So it's really fun to see what they are coming up with.
Well, Beth, this has been great. What advice would you give to somebody who's actually trying to decide between just a 7-day river cruise and a river cruise tour?
Well, I would give the advice that go as long as time and money permits. If you find something that you like and
Yeah.
you can pay for it. And I will also say, we do have some calls from a few people will be like price shopping us.
Yeah.
We just want the lowest price. We want the lowest price. And we're like, well, you'll probably get someone that's never been to Europe and never been on a river cruise that can give you that low price. Just know that you really need an expert to help you with this.
Well, while on one hand I kind of understand that, but people are doing themselves a disservice by doing that. Because yeah, okay, great, you may have got the best price, but when you get there and all of a sudden you got to put your hand in your pocket for this, you didn't expect that, or this service wasn't quite the same. So it really pays to have the services of an
Absolutely,
expert.
it does.
Yeah.
And when you're with talking to someone, like a river cruise expert like we are, we're on the hook.
Yeah.
If we've given you bad information, you can come back to us and go, "What was that about?" You can't go back to someone who has never been there.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
Beth, this is fantastic. If folks wanted to reach out to you or one of your team, how would they do that?
Give us a call, 503-641-5225, or email Beth at cruzholidays.com.
Super. I'll leave that contact information
Great.
in the description for those that might like to reach out. But as always, Beth, I like to live vicariously through the travels of all the wonderful people I meet on this channel. So I have to know, I think you may have already told me, but where are you off to next?
Oh no, you don't even know this, Ken. I'm going to India in October.
Is that going to be a tour, Beth, or is that a
It's
river
going to be
cruise?
it's a tour. I don't have to think about one thing. I'm going to
Yeah.
go 5 nights on land, 7 nights on the Ganges River. It's going to be fabulous. I have zero idea what to expect. I
Yeah.
don't sell it because I don't know it. So this is just another place that I didn't even know was on my bucket list until Monday night.
Well, you're going to get to know it, and we'll
Yeah.
definitely have to have you back to regale us with your
Yes.
adventures in India. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Well, with that, Beth, I'm going to just wish you safe and happy travels on all your future adventures, cruises, and destinations. May the wind always be at your back, and I hope to see you on the sun deck of a river cruise ship sometime soon in the future.
Let's make it happen.
That sounds like
Okay.
a plan. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks.
And that about wraps it up for today, folks. A very special thanks to my guest, Beth Schulberg of Cruise and Travel Specialists. If you'd like to reach Beth, I will leave her contact information in the description. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can simply send a question to questions@realtravelexperts.com. Visit our website, realtravelexperts.com, or simply leave a comment. We always respond. And as always, folks, a like, share, subscribe, and a ring of the bell is certainly appreciated and helps other folks just like you to find our content. So until next time, happy travels.